Good morning. My name is Reverend Kylie Renner, and on behalf of the entire One Spiritual Center community, I want to welcome you here this morning. Thank you for bringing your love and your light into this space. So yesterday morning, when I heard about the news about what had happened in Pennsylvania at the Tree of Life Synagogue, I realized that I had like this perfect day planned to process the huge amount of grief and sadness I was feeling. because I got to first be with a whole beautiful group of you as we were at Roadrunner Food Bank being in service to our community. And when I woke up that morning, I did not realize that exploding acorn squash were in my future for the morning, but rotten acorn squash are really disgusting. But being in service, right? Being in service to the greater community started to shift the energy that I was feeling. And then I had the most beautiful opportunity to be at the memorial service for Richard Jaramillo, Milo's dad, and the beautiful music community that showed up just to send him off. It was so inspiring to see generations of musical people just honoring such a great man. And then I got to go to a Halloween party and got to sit with a bunch of little kids that decided I was the bee's knees. And so when a 4-year-old decides that you're the bee's knees and you need to hear all of their jokes, there's something that happens, right? There's something that starts to shift. And so my favorite, it's not really actually a joke, was, why did the turtle and the cookie cross the road? To get another turtle. See, 4-year-old jokes, right? Make everything better. And so there was this energy of hope. The energy shifted for me about what can we create? How can we honor each other? How can we make sure that we're honoring our oneness, that we belong to one another in all of our encounters, whether we're being of service or honoring those who have gone before us, or getting a chance to see what's coming out into the future. And I'm just in the space this morning of realizing that in all of that, we get to decide who we're going to be and how we're going to show up. And that really, truly, there's something moving on this planet right now that's giving us an opportunity to show up in a new way. And I believe we get to take that invitation. And so I'm sending love to everyone hurting this morning, and the Tree of Life Synagogue, and this opportunity we have to really start to move into a higher place of realizing how we truly belong to one another. So I'm going to take that energy. And we got some spooky goodness coming up in a bit. And it's all going to get mashed up into the beauty of this day. And so if you're comfortable joining me, I'm going to ask you to take a moment to close your eyes as we center in prayer. So I know that there is only one. One power, one presence, one love, one light, one life. And it is living and moving and being through all things in every direction. That one power that sits at the center of all life, guiding and directing, loving, moving, opening in absolutely every direction. And so we breathe into the peace and the power of this moment, into the recognition that we have love to give and to share. We lift each other up, and we lift ourselves into a higher vision of what is possible. What is possible when we remember how deeply connected we are. So we let the source of all of life supply us with all of the wisdom, clarity, and peace that is needed for us to find a place of power inside of us. As we move through all of the changes in our lives with a grace and insight provided by that higher power. So I bless this opportunity to be together this morning. I bless all of the hearts in this space and within the sound of my voice. I bless all of the breaking open and coming back together that is called deep love. And I trust and I know that this day unfolds in a perfection that is bigger than any one of us. And that we are guided and loved through all of it. I let it be. And so it is.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of love. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning, here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of light. Get ready, my soul.
So we're about to hear a very spooky meditation that John prepared for us today. And as we create a space for that, I have a poem to share with you called Thinking Like a Butterfly by Mark Nepo. Monday, I was told I was good. I felt relieved. Tuesday, I was ignored. I felt invisible. Wednesday, I was snapped at. I began to doubt myself. On Thursday, I was rejected. Now I was afraid. On Saturday, I was thanked for being me. My soul relaxed. On Sunday, I was left alone. I was left alone till the part of me that can't be influenced got tired of submitting and resisting. Monday, I was told I was good. By Tuesday, I got off the wheel. So we're going to take that energy and we're going to let the spookiness take us wherever it needs to go this morning, into our wisdom, into that place that gets to get off the wheel.
Our special music this morning, Diana Hughes is here. Diana Hughes. That's the wrong chord.
When ugly feelings chill the meadows of your mind, just think if winter comes, can spring be far behind? Beneath the deepest snows, the secret of a rose is merely that it knows you must believe in spring. You must must believe in love and trust it's on its way. Just as the sleeping rose awaits the kiss of May, the frozen mountain dreams of April's melting streams. How crystal clear it seems, you must believe in spring. You must believe in love and trust it's on its way. Just as that sleeping rose awaits the kiss of May, so in a world of snow, of things that come and go, where what you think you know you can't be certain of, you must believe in spring and love. Just as a tree is sure its leaves will reappear, it knows its emptiness is just a time of year. The frozen mountain dreams of April's melting streams. How crystal clear it seems, you must believe in spring. You must believe in love and trust it's on its way. Just as the sleeping rose awaits the kiss of May, so in a world of snow, of things that come and go, where what you think you know you can't be certain of, you must believe in spring and love.
Diana Hughes. Thank you.
So I've been thinking a lot about the plans we make in life and what happens when things don't go according to our plan. And I was thinking about the fact that this time last year, I had no idea what that next year was going to look like for me. No idea that I would be starting a new spiritual community with all of you beautiful people. I had no idea that that was what was coming, but there's something really important, I believe, about realizing that we can have all kinds of plans. We can have all kinds of ideas and intentions. And it is really important for us to realize that it is not our job to hold on to those in a way that turns into us worshiping our plans and our intentions. That we, in fact, are asked to hold them in a way that allows them to do what they need to do. And I think that this is really important as we figure out how to navigate the big changes in our lives and on the planet, is how is it that we want to be? Because if every time our life doesn't go according to our plans, we get upset and start to fight and resist instead of paying attention, we create a lot of chaos. And we could create a lot of trauma and drama in our lives. And there's something deeply powerful about taking a spiritual perspective that says, my plans did not go how I thought they were going to go. What is God trying to show me? Where is it that God is in this, trying to create something different? And how can I be paying attention to that instead of being pissed off that my plans didn't go according to how I wanted them to? And so I've been thinking about this in a deep way because I believe that there is an opportunity for us to start to more deeply and powerfully hold our plans in a way that allows them to change us and allows room for the divine to come in and move things wherever they need to be moved for our greater good. And that is not possible if all we keep doing is getting upset when things don't go according to how we thought they should. There is then no room for the divine to show us what we were actually being supposed to be paying attention to. So there's this beautiful section of a book by Mark Nepo that talks about this, and he says, one day after bemoaning obstacle after obstacle in my life, it suddenly became clear that what is in the way is the way. Facing the things that prevent us from making our way is the road to freedom. We each must suffer in order to become authentic enough to follow the thread of what matters. I'm going to read that sentence again. Facing the things that prevent us from making our way is the road of freedom. We each must suffer in order to become authentic enough to follow the thread of what matters. Despite all our plans, learning to stay in our heart, losing our tight hold on ourself, being made humble and gentle through the erosion of loss and feeling empty enough to begin again. These are the steps of finding and refinding the thread of all that matters. Often, we so furiously insist on what we want or where we think we're going that we ignore, resist, or deny what life brings as the next step. All the while, truth is a seed hidden in the days until watered by what life brings us. Truth is a seed hidden in the days until watered by what life brings us. So it felt so powerful to me to reread these words this week because it felt as if there was something guiding all of us to stop ignoring, resisting, and denying what life is bringing in front of us, especially when it doesn't feel like it's according to our plans, and to actually use it as a seed for our next step to start to actually be paying attention in that way. And I know for myself that there's this loosening that happens and this freedom that happens that says that, you know, like I can have my plans, but truly what the divine has set in motion is bigger than anything I could have imagined. And it is my job to make sure that I'm open enough to let my part of that come into the world instead of denying it by my limited ideas of what is possible and where I'm going. And I think that it is important to do this and to remind ourselves all the time, because there's that, beautiful saying that one really great way to make God laugh is to tell her your plans, right? That's a really great way for us to amuse the divine, because there's something really funny about like what we concoct in our days, and I honestly have been really bad about this recently, because I've had these days where I've planned to go and get so many things done that if absolutely one thing doesn't work right, then everything's going to blow up. And I've had a bunch of those recently. And it's made me laugh because there's been these moments where I'm like, oh, this could all go bad right this second. And it doesn't. But there's this really interesting balance of saying, how am I going to be in this? You know, how am I going to be if this goes sideways, if this doesn't go the way I think it should? Who do I want to be? What do I want to bring? And how do I want my plans or my intentions to control my life? Or do I want to be a vehicle for a higher vision to come into being? And can I do that? So my title for today is Ready, Fire, Aim. And obviously that's not the order it normally goes in, but for me it speaks to this idea that we get ready, we set things in motion, and then from that place we get to guide and aim where we want to go, what we want to bring, who we want to be, how we're going to let it teach us, whatever it is that shows up. And so I have a teacher many years ago that used to use the saying, ask for what you want, then take what you get. And I feel like that is a really kind of a beautiful way of talking about kind of having that low attachment to the outcome or to our plans, because it is powerful to ask for what we want, and then when what shows up isn't what we think it should, our job is to accept it, not to resist it. And so when we get ready and we set that, energy in motion of that intention or our plan, and we fire it, then we get to let the divine play a role in the aim of where it gets to land and how we want to be in that. So I came across a funny story about General MacArthur, who asked an engineer how long it was going to take to build a bridge across a certain river, and the engineer said, well, we can get that done in 3 days. And so the general said, okay, go ahead, draw up the plans. And 3 days later MacArthur asked for the plans, and the engineer was surprised. He said, oh, the bridge is ready. You can cross it now. If you want plans, you're going to have to wait another 4 days. We haven't finished those yet. And I think that that's somehow how the divine works in our lives often. That the bridge is already built, right? The thing that we're praying for is already there, but our plans or our idea of it feels like it's not done yet. Or we feel like that's more important than the thing itself, than the bridge that we then get to cross. And so we end up worshiping the idea that we have to have a plan, instead of being really present to the fact that the divine in us knew already that we wanted to build a bridge, that bridge was coming out of our hearts into the world, that was already there. And it was our job not to make a plan, but to recognize its presence already. And so if we are asking for what we want and then taking what we get, there's an opportunity to hold our plans with a different energy. And an energy that allows for room and for transformation and for bigger ideas than we could have imagined. It allows for freedom in a way that wasn't possible before. And so that's the biggest part of a story that some of you are interested in, that you'll hear more about in the coming weeks. But the story of the transformation that has happened in my life over the last year. And ultimately, what I can tell you is that the transformation has led to a freedom that I didn't know was possible. About a place of getting off that wheel that Mark Nepo so beautifully talks about in that poem. And that freedom is I honestly wouldn't have decided to get there the way I did. But the truth of it is that what was right in front of me was leading me to a freedom that was bigger than anything I could have imagined. And it wasn't my plan, but the freedom was worth it. And so I think the deep reminder here for me is that we get to that place where we get to decide whether our plans are more important than what's right in front of us. And what's right in front of us is guiding us to the place where we really need to be, and we get to pay attention to that. So here's another beautiful Mark Nepo poem. It's called The Appointment. What if, on the first sunny day, on your way to work, a colorful bird sweeps in front of you down a street you've never heard of? You might pause and smile, a sweet beginning of your day. Or you might step into that street and realize that there are many ways to work. You might sense the bird knows something you don't and wander after. You might hesitate when the bird turns down an alley, for now there's a tension. Is what the bird knows worth being late? You might go another block or two thinking you have to have it both ways. But soon you arrive at the edge of all your plans. And the bird circles back for you. And you must decide which appointment you were born to keep. But soon you arrive at the edge of all your plans. And that bird circles back for you, and you must decide which appointment you were born to keep. So right there is a message for all of us about how we want to be in the world, how we want to pay attention to all of the things that are guiding us deeper into our souls. Do we want to resist and ignore and deny? Or can we be open in a way that allows for something new to happen, that can lead us to a freedom we never imagined possible, and this deep love that just keeps on expanding? And it's at the center of each and every one of us, beckoning us, like that colorful bird, to take a different way, to keep a different appointment, to bring something new to the world. And man, this world needs it, guys. We need it. We need us all to be bringing our full, whole selves, that appointment we were born to keep. The world needs it right now. So we get to be the courageous ones that are willing to let all of our plans fall away so that something bigger can happen. And that's the truth of each and every one of us. And I just know that we're deeply supported in this. So I'm going to take a second because tears caught up with me this morning. Couldn't run from them forever. They're right here. And we're going to sing into our prayer. And so as we prepare for that, I'm just inviting you to take maybe some plan in your life that you've been holding on to too tightly, some disappointment, some pain around things not feeling like they're going the way you think they should. And we're going to hand it over to a higher place. And we're going to sing into this prayer, so please join me.
Our prayer of love lifts us high. It heals us, sustains us, and sets us free. Our prayer of love lifts us high. It heals us, sustains us, and sets us free. Our prayer of love lifts us high. It heals us, sustains us, and sets us free. Our prayer of love lifts us high. It heals us, sustains us, and sets us free. Our prayer of love lifts us high. It heals us, sustains us, and sets us free.
so our prayer of love today is a prayer of moving to that place past all of our ideas of what we think is possible, all of our plans for how we think things should go, and moves into a place of higher vision that recognizes our capacity to be so much more free, loving, peaceful, aware than we ever thought possible. And so we allow for the love of the divine to show us how. To show us how to pray deeply for what we want to create, and then let it free to allow for the divine to move it wherever it needs to go for not only our own greatest good, but for the greatest good of life itself. So we hold things lightly because we recognize that there is always more in that vision that continues to reveal itself. There's always more. And so we open to being conduits for letting that higher vision come into form. And we let ourselves go into it because we trust. We trust that what is right in front of us is the way. And that there is nothing that needs to be denied or resisted, because everything is teaching us and reminding us of a greater love. And so I just know freedom and peace and wisdom and love are the birthright of each and every one of us, and life itself. And so I recognize this invitation that we are being given by life as an invitation to truly step in as change agents in life itself, moving this whole thing we're doing together towards a higher vision of what is possible when we remember that we are one. And so I just let go of the fear. Because truly, love is present here. Freedom is present here. Truth is present here. And so we ask for what we want, and then we take the infinite love of the infinite, and we let it run free in our lives. How sweet that is. I let go. I let it be. And so it is.
Our prayer of love, it lifts us high, it heals us, sustains us, sets us free. Our prayer of love lifts us high, it heals us, sustains us, and sets us free. Once again, Diana Hughes.
Much better. Sorry, it's John.
It's Halloween.
It's Halloween. We had to. world of ordinary people, extraordinary people, I'm glad there is you. In this world of overrated pleasures and underrated treasures, I'm so glad there is you. I live to love, I love to live with you beside me. This role so new, I'll muddle through with you to guide me. And in this world where many, many play at love and hardly any stay in love, I'm glad there is you. More than ever, I'm so glad there is you. In this world of ordinary people, extraordinary people, I'm glad there is you. In this world of overrated pleasures and underrated treasures, I'm so glad there is you. To live with me beside you. This role so new, I'll muddle through with you to guide me. And in this world where many, many play at love and hardly any live with love, I'm glad there is you. More than ever, I'm so glad there is you. More than ever, I'm so glad there is you. I'm glad there's you. So glad there's you.
That's Diana Hughes.
Thank you, Diana. So now's the time where we move into the sharing of our tithes and offerings. I invite you to take whatever it is you brought to share with this community today and hold it over your heart. We also have a place on our website where you can give electronically if you prefer to do so. And we're just going to set an intention in whatever we're giving today, whatever that might be. We're going to hold it with that energy that says, I am willing for the divine to make new plans for me. And I am willing to be guided and directed and loved in the process. I'm willing to not resist and to truly open to a bigger wisdom moving. And so as we allow for that wisdom to take over, there's just something beautiful that happens. And we allow the energy of circulation and peace and freedom to just open us even further. And so we take that energy of our intention, and I am inviting you to sing with me as our ushers come through the aisles.
I'm not worried about tomorrow. Today I declare freedom from yesterday and mistakes of the past today. All things are made brand new. Don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? I can change my reality by changing my mind. Perfect peace, joy, and happiness is yours and it's mine. I am loved and so are you. Don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? All is well, all is well. Divine Spirit is directing me right now. All is well, all is well. All is well and unfolding as it should. I am clothed in the Spirit. I am fed by the divine. I'm one with all that is. My soul is free from time. I am blessed and so are you. Don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? All is well, all is well. My Spirit is directing me right now. All is well, all is well. All is well and unfolding as it should. All is well and unfolding as it should.
So we just take the energy of all the love that is shared in this space, all the love that we encounter as we remember the presence of the divine in absolutely every area of our lives, and we allow for those bigger plans to unfold with so much joy and peace and courage and freedom, because we know how supported we are by life itself. And so I just trust in this. I know that something bigger is happening than any of us could have ever imagined, and that there is more good coming into being through each and every one of us than we ever imagined possible, right here and right now. I bless it, I let go into it, and I let it be. And so it is. All right, so I have a couple of gratitudes. Just want everyone to know that through the love and generosity of this community, we served a meal a few weeks ago that served 96 hungry people in Albuquerque. And then yesterday, an amazing group got together, and I was telling you about those exploding acorn squash, but all of those are going to also help serve our hungry in our community. So thank you, everyone who's participated in these service projects as they continue. So every third Saturday of the month, we cook for Community of Hope. And normally every fourth Sunday, we're at Roadrunner Food Bank, or Saturday, we're at Roadrunner Food Bank, except for this month because of the holiday that is coming up. So the food bank is closed, and so we'll pick that up in December and keep on going. So thank you for all of that. And I just want to make a brief announcement that some of you know that I was in an ongoing legal situation with my previous employer, and it's finally been settled. Yay. Yeah. And one of the things I can now do is talk about what happened, which feels really good. Because if you've asked what happened over the last almost 11 months, you've heard from me, I can't talk about it. there's an ongoing legal situation, and I can't talk about it yet, but I fought really hard to get to a place where I could talk about what happened. So there is all kinds of stuff that's going to be circulating and coming out. Some of you might care, some of you might not. But what I'm really deeply grateful for is that there's all of you beautiful people in this room who have who know who I am and know what I stand for, and who knew that even when I couldn't talk about what happened, and kept loving me through it, because it was really a hard thing to have all kinds of rumors and nasty things being said about me and not be able to defend myself. So that's where we're at, and I'm just deeply grateful for the love that I've haven't really truly great. My husband's over there, and this has been a ride. So he's like grateful for all of the love and the support. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And oh my God, I'm so glad that's over. And plans change, and bigger freedom comes into being, and God's in charge. So I love all of you, and we are going to sing together. Thank you.
One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's give thanks to the Lord, and we can feel alright. People get ready, there's a train coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith, hear that diesel humming. Don't need no tickets, you just thank the Lord. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's give thanks to the Lord, and we can feel alright. People get ready for the train to Jordan, picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key, open the doors and board 'em. There's room for all that love them. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's give thanks to the Lord, and we can feel alright. Let's give thanks to the Lord, and we can feel alright.
And so we have one last blessing for one another as we go forth today. Please join me.